Oh man, another big day for Fantom, up over 10% today here with another solid pump to the upside. But this has been helped thanks to the fact that Bitcoin has remained relatively strong. Now, like I said to you, Fantom, we can look at the Fantom charts, we can look at the technical analysis, and we continue to do so in these videos. But it's really important that we spend a couple of minutes looking at Bitcoin and understanding the trajectory of Bitcoin. And what we could see yesterday on the update was that Bitcoin managed to break out from this quite a long descending channel. Call it, from this spike downwards on the 4th of December. We've been channeling in this descending wedge, and we knew that we had a higher probability of breaking to the upside. Now, our price target to the upside is at the top of the wedge on Bitcoin, which sits here at 52,000. But like I said to you first, we're going to maybe get a curling off. So when I made the video yesterday, I said expect a curling off, even a touch of this resistance turn support line. And then when we get a bounce off of it, that is a bullish sign for us to head higher. Now, fortunately, we've had two really good 4-hourly candles bouncing off the support line at 47,850, which we know is a really important level going back. This is a line we've drawn a long time ago. We know the 47,850 is a key level for Bitcoin. So it's managed to reverse what seems like a little bit earlier without having to go all the way down to this resistance line here, which is fantastic. Now, in order for us to get the green light to head higher, we've got to get above this top, right? This peak here where we got rejected, call it 49,500. We've got to push beyond this. We're about 1,000 off right now. We need to clear that before we can head higher. And when I say higher, we need to head to the top of this wedge, which is our 52,000 mark, before then heading towards the next resistance level at 54,000. So those are our key levels of concern on Bitcoin from a technical perspective. But what does that mean for Fantom? Let's take a look, because Fantom's had another solid day, and things are really starting to look good for the layer 1 space, which we've been talking about for a while now. I'm actually going to post another video after this one to break down further some of the layer 1 plays, including Avalanche and Terra, because like I've been saying for a long time, this is a hotly contested space, and it's a hot space. And when Bitcoin recovers, you best be prepared for the fact that a lot of these solid layer 1 plays are going to absolutely run, because people are realizing that Ethereum is not the be all and end all. But more about that in the next video, because for now, let's take a quick look at Fantom. And whilst I pull this chart up, don't forget to smash up the likes, guys. Subscribe if you appreciate this blend between technicals and fundamental analysis, because that's what I'm committed to bringing you guys. Now, as Bitcoin was in its descending wedge, Fantom equally followed and respected the behavior of Bitcoin and continued its way on its downward wedge. Now, you understand that we were looking at a potential inverse head and shoulders pattern. Left shoulder, right head, right shoulder. We got rejected at the neckline. I said, let's wait again for the second shoulder to form. Let's have a deformed inverse head and shoulders pattern with two shoulders. So we end up getting this W pattern, in essence. You can almost forget about the fact that it's an inverse head and shoulders pattern, because at that point it becomes a W pattern. Not that that matters, by the way, guys. A lot of people, including some of the other technical analysts out there, get caught up on the names of these patterns. It's irrelevant. They're patterns caused by psychology. It's the battle of the bulls and the bears, and that's what matters here. What matters here is that from this neckline, the bears try to push it down. This neckline again, the bears try to push it out, but the steam runs out, and then eventually the bulls take over, right? The patterns, that's how they're formulated. Now, once we got to the neckline, which in this instance happened to be around this white line, which was at 1.54, I said that we got a clean breakthrough. Now, like always, you've got to expect a little cooling off to the neckline. We didn't get that in this instance, which is fantastic, which shows there's a lot of pent-up demand here for Fantom. And like I said, this is a really critical thing. I don't want you guys to overlook it, which is why I'm repeating this. When Bitcoin has a retracement, when the overall market retraces and everything is down, right? All altcoins are down, everything is just flat red like we've seen in the last few weeks, well, most of December, then you need to understand there's nothing specific going wrong with your coin, which is fantastic. But it should also give you the clue that whichever one bounces back the quickest, whichever one then comes out of the blocks the fastest, those are the ones with the pent-up demand. Those are the ones which often have the hype, have the attention. There's something about them that we need to be looking at. And you can see Fantom is really roaring out of the blocks here, which is fantastic. I mean, just look at these strong green candles. We push straight through the 1.65 mark, which I said we'd have to face. You can see initially here, there was one 4-hourly candle of resistance by the bears, but they were quickly overcame in the next 4-hourly candle. We pushed straight through, and you can see we're heading higher now to our next level, which is at 179.83. And again, right at that level, you can see on the red 4-hourly candle we just had, the bears sent us straight back down. So look, we're holding a little bit of a wall here, the bulls overcame it, holding a little bit of wall there, the bulls, will we overcome this 179 mark? Because if we can push through that mark, whether it's our second or third attempt, that's fine. If we need to even come calling off back down to 165 before breaking it, that's fantastic. Or even a couple of times before we head higher, it's just a matter of time before we break that 179 mark. and then head higher to our next level, which is 194. So really exciting on Fantom. You can now see that on the 4-hourly chart, you can see that we have had a sustained period now turning bullish on the EMA ribbon. We've flipped the EMA ribbon, and we've not just done so for a little bit like we have here and here. This is a sustained period. If I bring out the measuring tool, you can see the move we've just had from the bottom here. Let's just get that here, and you can see the move roughly, very roughly speaking, while here is about 38% pump, guys. So a 38% move here on Fantom is no mean feat just since the 20th of December. Okay, so just in the last 3 days, if you panic sold, if you sold your Fantom, if you lost conviction for a little bit, you've missed out on a 38% move. And this is where the wealth is made, right? This is where your stomach is tested. This is where your metal and your bottle is tested. And this is why I keep harping on about conviction plays. You guys might get fed up. You might be like, why does he keep talking about high conviction plays? But this is why. How did your stomach feel when Fantom went all the way down here, when it wicked all the way down to these levels here? Okay, so if we come to this candle and you're facing lows of $1.15 when maybe you bought it $3, maybe you bought it $2.50, how was your stomach? Did you go and buy the dip? Did you have conviction? Or did you panic sell? Let's identify how did you feel, because we need to fix that for the next time, okay, guys? So now you can see how quickly things can... I mean, if we take this... In fact, look at this, guys. From the dire situation here of $1.15 to where we are at now, where we just wicked the high candle there, that's a 58% move, guys. Okay, 58% move just from the 4th of December. So you've really got to be patient, and that's why you need conviction. Really, really important. Now, one last thing before I let you guys out, let's bring out the VPVR. You can see that in this rally we've just had, we've really cleared through a really important cluster level of volume. So this is really good. Now you can see the volume really does seem to narrow in here up to the $2 mark. So hopefully we can push through these resistances. Like I mentioned, this is probably the last stronger one, but even that we've managed to push through quite strongly. So given that Bitcoin continues to remain bullish, given that Omicron doesn't give us any surprises and the general macro economy and crypto space is looking strong, Fantom should have the green light to continue to head higher, get through this 179 mark, and then see how we fare with the $1.94. Now, like always, I don't always expect that we're going to break these, resistance lines in the first go. We easily can get a little bit of cooling off, pick up some support, and then head higher. That's perfectly fine. If we see this kind of a pattern cooling off, don't panic. That's perfectly normal. Maybe even 2 attempts before breaking the resistance levels and heading higher. One quick thing before I let you go, I know I said that already, but we need to look at the daily chart as well, because what I need to make you guys aware of, and this is really, really important, is this pattern right here. Now, what you can see here is we are getting a curling off, okay? So in the great scheme of things, let's recap what happened, right? Fantom went on an absolute tear from flipping its EMA ribbon here. We ran all the way from this candle here from about $1.20 mark, which we just recovered from now, ironically, all the way up to $3.50 at our highs here. We then had a cooling off. We bounced off our EMA ribbon, but then we had the big retracement. Big retracement 1, relief rally, big retracement 2, and then a period of consolidation. Again, bringing out the VPVR, this is where the volume is traded on Fantom. You can see the bulls really do come in from anywhere between $1.23 to $1.47, 2 really big VPVR candles. You can also see there's a bunch of support here between $1.09 to $1.21. So this whole 3 candle period here is where the bulls come in and say, no, we're picking up Fantom in this period. That's why I felt confident that we were reaching a floor here, because this whole thing spiked so quickly, and this retraced quite quickly. That's fair game. But we stayed at this level for a while, so I expected us to stay and hold this level for a while. So that's why this is such a critical level for us, and why you can feel confident, because a lot of people ask me, how do I know when to buy a dip? How do I prevent myself from catching a falling knife? This is how. When you see yourself retracing to a level which you've been sat at for a long period of time in the past, you can rest assured that these are generally, unless something big has happened or there's a big catalyst to the downside, these are levels from which we can expect to bounce from, okay? So that's what we're seeing on Fantom. Let me just go back to that chart. Just lost it for a second. So one more thing I wanted to point out on the Fantom chart, you can see on the EMA ribbon that ever since this period from this big red candle after Bitcoin had its big red candle, 26th of November, we were bearish, okay? We flipped bearish on our EMA ribbon, and we were quite far extended. If you look at the extension here, we continue to be far extended on our EMA ribbon. We've not managed to extend this just yet, okay? So we've not managed managed to flip this just yet until we get a close above the EMA ribbon. So that looks like roughly $1.85 range. If we get a daily close around that kind of area above the EMA ribbon, we can then flip bullish on the daily chart, which means we can then start looking at potential massive moves to the upside. Because let me just remind you guys, the last time we managed to have a big flip from a downward retracement, this was a retracement from $1.94 all the way down to lows of 98 cents. Okay guys, so this was a big retracement to the downside here. You can then see once we recovered the move we then went on Fantom. So again, a lot of things are really lining up for Fantom right now. The fundamentals still look amazing. The project is still super undervalued. There's not enough hype around Fantom given some of the other layer 1 plays, which I'm going to cover in my other video, including Terra, including Avalanche, including even Cardano super valued as well. What is going on with Fantom? Are there some signs? Again, if you've not watched my video, really important video. If you watch one video on my channel, go check out the most important Fantom video of this year. The year is coming to an end, but make sure you watch that, because here in December, you're going to watch the most important Fantom video you've watched. Okay, and it's going to help you understand why it's so undervalued and why I continue to make videos on Fantom, and understand why these price points are just ridiculous. To have the opportunities to be picking up Fantom still today at prices from which we were seeing all the way back in September. So hope you guys found this useful. If you like this type of insight, if you like this blend between technicals and fundamentals, don't forget to smash the like button, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.